Huh?
Is this because we're stylish? Is that what's happening?
I think so.
We are
I think
stylish.
so. We're all about style, Dan, and not just style on the West Coast.
Synonymous, people would say.
Style on the East Coast. You.
I know, that's right. I'm on the fashion capital of the world, New York City today. Guess
Amazing.
it's like a remote location on the scene here in New York.
Okay. Wow. So our viewers out there have a treat here where you're on the East Coast time. You're 3 hours ahead.
East Coast, West Coast rap right here. LA
I
to
love
New
it.
York. Yeah.
I love it.
Two kids from Cotati.
Two kids from Cotati rapping about what's happening this weekend. The NFL, Dan.
Football's happening as we speak.
That's true.
So you've got your Patrick Willis jersey on, the fifth, right? 52 Niners?
This is 52 Niners, Patrick Willis. I turn around here. Is that Willis? Yeah, it is. Yes. There he is.
Well, I'll tell my quick Patrick Willis story, which is
Please. Yes.
He is the most engaging, thoughtful, pensive, spiritual, deep thinking football player that I ever covered.
Oh.
I knew none of that while I was covering him. And I've never asked it, like in his post playing career, which remember, he's one of those guys who retired pretty early. He had injuries, but he was in no rush to stick around.
Yeah.
He is a different guy in retirement, and he knew all along that he wasn't a football player. That wasn't his passion. He just happened to he was born with this skill to haul people to the ground, no matter how big or fast they were. He had that knack of no, you're not running anymore. This is a 1 yard game, not a 10-yard game, buddy. But when I talk to him now, he's almost, and I don't mean this in a cheesy way. I mean this in a legit, more of an intellectual way. He is just so thoughtful about everything, and his view on life and his view on connectivity and his view of the future is like, I would vote for him for any office he ran for. And I really like him. And I covered almost the breadth of his career. I was there. The Niners drafted him. He came in for his first press conference. And I just thought he was a, closed up, focused athlete. But under the surface, so I kind of I've never asked them that. And I asked somebody close to him about this once, like, was he that guy and I missed it? Or did he become that guy later in life? And she said, I don't know. I have the same question.
Wow. Okay. Huh. I remember he only played, five or 6 years? Something like that.
Was it that short? I want to say 8. But it's in that range. He played, he was injured for a while, but his peak, however short, was spectacular.
Oh, I know. I loved him. That's why, I had to get his jersey, man. And let's see. Google says he played 7 years from 2007 to 2014. Yeah.
Okay. So he got voted into the Hall of Fame. And I had essentially an invite from him to go out and spend some time with him in his hometown of Brewston, Tennessee before induction. And I'm like, name the date, name the time. I'm there for the reasons I mentioned. Like, this is a guy who we thought we knew and didn't, but he and his team changed their mind about it for reasons that I understood.
Wow. Now that could potentially, did you ever write a story about what you're telling me here?
Yeah, sort of. So I got invited to this thing called it's called Athletes Voices. And the whole idea was for players who've retired, even if they had long careers, short careers, whatever, even if they were star or if they played, field hockey, if they were college soccer players, it was for how do you leverage your whatever fame you got, how do you transition to the next phase of life? And if you are charity oriented, specifically, how do you do that? How do you start a 401c3 or is it 501c3 or whatever it's called, the charity?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
How do you run the business on a practical level? How do you get the word out? How do you amplify your voice? Using your specific to athletes who have played. So it'd be like literally was Alex Smith was there, the Niners quarterback, Patrick Willis, Joe Nedney, the kicker, but also a soccer player from Afghanistan, and a wheelchair athlete from Alabama, and trying to think of the wide range. There was a female football player who had tried to create leagues. Anyway, this all, and so I went to this thing like an obligation, thinking, we'll see if it's a story or not. It was one of the most compelling things I ever covered, because these athletes, regardless of their star power, connected about, hey man, we don't play anymore. That was our identity. That's who we were. How do we carve a new identity? Who are we now that we're not playing games, that we're not cheered on Sundays? So Alex Smith and this Paralympian who climbed mountains despite his broken back just bonded before my eyes, and it was just a really deeply moving experience. And Patrick was the sagest voice of them all. And he got up and he said, like, I don't have a problem reinventing myself, because I never was that guy. I knew when I started playing football that this was a passing thing, and I didn't want to be Patrick Willis, the football player. And you would have never known that watching him. He was born with the gift. And I'm not saying he hated it. I'm not saying he's miserable. I know he appreciates that career to its fullest, but that wasn't who he was at heart.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You'll have to dig that story up and put it in the link down here. That's cool.
Yeah.
Really amazing. Huh. Well, it's a good thing I wore this jersey, huh? It's a talking point for that.
Just that guy presses my buttons just because he's so different. At least some people you mostly, if you're a fan, like if you follow him, you kind of know, oh, I know what this person's about. It just in a general sense. But Patrick fooled me.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Oblivious.
Yeah, for sure. So, Dan, one other question that we're getting from our viewers out there is, how did your fantasy football team draft go? And who are your stars? Name some players.
Oh my
Who
God.
you got?
Yeah. Well, I'm in two leagues, and I really did not prepare, which I do. I know plenty of people who win their fantasy league by just kind of going on gut or whatever. They watch stuff. I did not prepare. So in one league, I had the 12th pick. And last year in this spot, I took back-to-back Saquon Barkley and Jonathan Taylor, and I won the league. This year,
I was going to say, that's pretty amazing.
Puka
Nacua.
Yeah, I can't even say that. Two guys whose names I don't even know how to pronounce. And the Raiders draft pick, Ashton Junti.
Oh, that new guy, right?
Yeah.
So
you can tell how well versed I am in this. In another league, it's not draft, it's auctions. You figure out what star you want to pay for. And we got Amon-Ra St. Brown as our most expensive player.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's a good pick right there. Who's your QB?
In that league, we'll have I benched. So in this the league that's just me, I drafted Justin Herbert and Kyle Murray, just kind of two mid-tier guys, and I'll just kind of pick up starter each week. And this week I benched Justin Herbert and watched him throw 3 touchdown passes for 300 yards. So
he torched.
In our other league, our quarterback is Caleb Williams, hoping for a bounce back year from the number 1 overall pick. Or not even a bounce back, a breakthrough year.
But that could be a lot of a lot of people are saying that. And did you get yourself a dome kicker or a Bronco?
No, we tried to, but I am the one lone. This is in both leagues. I'm the lone proponent on the planet that Jake Moody is good kicker in a good offense and is going to be a good fantasy football kicker.
Yeah. Readily
available in most leagues, I think. But who you got? I don't want to be alone on this.
Dude, you know what they always say, right, Dan? That you always spend your least amount on your kicker.
Yeah.
Because because your best kicker versus your worst kicker, it's not really that much of a gap there.
Yeah.
But running back, quarterback,
exactly. Exactly. Right.
You have Justin Herbert. That's great. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you. Now.
Well, wait. I want to know who you got.
Bro, I'm telling you, I used to play fantasy football, myself,
Oh,
and then I just got too obsessed with it. Like I
yeah,
told you, I was watching weather reports. I would have been like really mad if I didn't play Herbert, and then
yeah,
that went down. And that's the kind of stuff that like, or if I did play Herbert and he totally just laid an egg,
yeah. You'd be
and then
upset.
that was Thursday, and
Yeah,
then I'm like, oh, right,
yeah,
trying to make up for that for roster moves and all that. It was consuming,
yeah.
Dan, like consuming.
You
So
you're not you
instead,
are not well.
I just
You chose wisely to bow out.
yeah,
Yeah,
I just hang out with the dog here, right? I hang out with the dog here on Sundays and we watch 49er football. And I can root for all the 49ers. I don't have
yeah,
to worry about Cleveland, Cincinnati games. And
yeah.
I think they're playing, which is hilarious. Um, that was
One of those
always
rare cases where you might be watching a game and rooting against Brock Purdy.
I
Uh,
know, saying, "Oh, don't win the game." I remember distinctly when I would have Jerry Rice, I'd say, "Oh, I hope Jerry scores a bunch of touchdowns, but I'm playing on the defense, so I hope whenever they score, it's only Jerry." So that
right.
became, oh,
Yeah,
it hurt my head.
yeah.
So yeah, Dan, no more fantasy. And you remember baseball? I was always like
Yeah.
making moves up and down, and
So, as a fun story, when you're asked, it's been a few years, but I asked players like,
yeah,
are your friends and family obligated to own you in fantasy football? Like, do
yeah.
they have a like in? I can't remember who it was. Torrey Smith. Remember, he's a pretty good receiver. He goes, well, if they want to win. But the best story came from the kicker. He was a Niners kicker for a while. He was the Cleveland kicker for a while. I'm drawing a blank on his name for the story. Uh, you know the Niners kickers?
From way back when, or like
After Wershing, after probably in the early 2000s,
okay,
Phil
so they
Dawson.
had
Phil Dawson came to me. Phil Dawson.
Phil Dawson, yeah, yeah,
Phil
yeah,
Dawson.
Browns
So I asked
kicker,
Phil Dawson.
yes,
He goes, well, that's a funny story. He goes, my son started doing fantasy football league. He's pretty young, but he's doing fantasy football, and
yeah.
he drafted me as his kicker. And then after the first week, because he's young, I get his email, I get his notifications. He dropped me. He must have missed a kick, and then Phil saw his own son put him on the waiver wire.
Ranked him.
Sorry, Dad.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
What I do miss about fantasy is the camaraderie around it. Like you went
yeah,
out and you did your draft. I was checking out Instagram feed where this one guy, they've been doing their draft for 30 years. That's really, really cool.
yeah,
And I remember draft day in particular were most fun, right? And we talked about Mike Gimbel last week.
oh,
He
yeah,
was in my he was in my fantasy baseball league. There was also a guy named Mike Tucker, okay,
hmm
in my fantasy baseball league. Not the Mike Tucker, the player.
yeah. Michael
Where
Tucker. Yeah,
Gimbel would make a joke and he would say to Mike Tucker, "Hey, look who's on my team that I'm keeping. You, I own you." And he goes, "Ah!" And he just like talked a bunch of shit. It was
yeah,
awesome. It was
awesome.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
We're going to have that guy on our show for sure. Good stuff. Okay. Well, Dan, so right now we have the NFL season going on. We're
yeah,
going to make some predictions in a minute. We're going to have our predictions on things like, MVP, Super Bowl winner, maybe even division by division,
yeah,
and also Travis Kelce buy or sell. So think of that.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, but let's go and hit our journalism segment
Yeah.
right now. We're going to talk about um, education here.
hmm
And this question comes from Jonathan, who is a writer for the Daily Gamecock
Okay. South
in
Carolina.
South Carolina,
Let's go.
University of South Carolina.
We got a good question on the chat too. We're gonna put that on deck. You see that?
Oh, let's see. Let's see. What are the worst fantasy football punishments you have seen? Okay,
Yeah.
we got to think about that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dan, here's the question. How do you stay informed and continually educate yourself on both the sports you cover and the evolving media industry trends?
Ah,
That's a
well,
loaded
great
one.
question, and it's the key. I would say it's the key to everything. Like the whole start with the premise that I want to say you're not an expert, but realize you don't know everything. And I think that's a big problem, specifically in the sports media, is people, they want to be experts. They want to be the guy. They want to be the woman who knows the stuff, the go-to source and whatever. And our job is really like, hey, we don't know this. So we're asking you, the actual experts, explain this to me. Let me know what's going to change. Hey, there's a new CBA. How is it going to affect free agents next winter? Like, you got to ask questions and don't try to fake like, hey, I can read the CBA and interpret this on my own. Hey, Manfred talked today about expansion. I'm not going to presume that I know what the ramifications are. It's okay to like be informed and to have, but you got to keep asking questions. And in terms of the changing media landscape, that I've been around long enough now that we're old and great. So got some.
Hey, we're fine wine,
fine vinegar. But I have seen it, right? There was no, when we grew up, there was no blogs, there was no cell phones, there was no Twitter, there's no social media. And I will not say that I'm a success story in adapting super fast to those things. You are, because you're in a different field, but you have to, the new one is AI, right? I'm not super, because I'm a certain age, I'm not super like, hey, this AI thing sounds great. I think it might replace a lot of jobs, but I'm gonna have to embrace it at some level. And so the premise of the question is great, which is how do you keep up with it all? And the way to do it is to approach it with humility and open-mindedness, and never push back about. I mean, I saw an industry of people at the San Jose Mercury News, where I worked for 23 years. We had a press room, and all those old-time layout guys who had the incredible expertise of like cutting up the paper and putting the headlines in paste and doing it all the old school way. They had an opportunity to stay on if they learned how to do all those things they did by computer. And not everybody wanted to, not everybody could. Like, so that whole, a whole generation of those people who spent their lives dedicated to learning that craft were rendered obsolete. And in the media industry, if you aren't savvy at social media, if you aren't savvy at, even stuff like now, like this talking on a podcast, these kind of auxiliary skills that aren't related to like typing on a keyboard, you have to embrace those. And I just say, like, how do I do it specifically? Do I go? No, but I just know that I know what I don't know, and I know that the world changes fast.
That's amazing advice right there. You know what you don't know. You see the ships out there.
Yeah.
And I like what you're saying there about the CBA, right? The collective bargaining agreement. When that thing comes out, I mean, that's like a lot of stuff there. Example, you brought up AI. AI is an incredible research tool for journalists. That is where you could use AI to give you to inform you about the CBA, right? You could put that in because it's in there, and lawyers and people are commenting about it, and AI is able to aggregate a bunch of information and put it in an easy digestible way for you. So that's one way for that. But yeah.
And I should say one other element to this is you have to. It's not just recognizing the changing sport and the media, but of audiences. For example, I think now with gambling audiences, I was going to say fantasy football, but I'm including that in the whole thing. Sometimes you have to think about them. I haven't done a lot of that, but I do know that. Okay, I'll give you a small example, right? Which is, and this isn't gambling specific, but it is. Dodger second baseman gets hurt. Okay, we write a story about the Dodger second baseman getting hurt. One of the things you have to mention up high is who's going to replace that person, who's going to get the playing time, who might get called up from the minors as a result of this, because your fantasy players, your gamblers are going like, who can I pick up in my league? And also, I mean, as a fan, you want to know, like, hey, is the hot prospect from AAA going to finally get the bump?
Coming up.
So if you focus it around the injury itself, we've learned the story won't. But if you focus on, okay, so-and-so's hurt, who's next? Who's next in line? Who's the playing time? Whoever the hit in the order? Who who might now be they're looking for in the trade market. If you look forward as a modern journalist, you have to do that because that's how fast everything works.
Yeah, that's a good point right there. I will say that look at you, Dan. You have continued to evolve your skills. You and I talk about social media. We set up your YouTube channel. You're on this stream. You've been doing this stream practically every week. We've been doing this stream, and we've been chopping up our content. And it's
you do the topic, my friend.
Hey man, without you, there is no content. I will say. Okay. Now, that being said, it's really cool that I'm starting to see a trend on the types of content that we're chopping up that gets the 1,200, 1,500 views versus the 200-300, views. And it is the historical stuff that you're talking about. It's the stuff, not practical. I mean, it's great that you're answering these journalism questions, and people, that's serving them. But the general audience out there, they love the Hall of Fame stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's that idea of social media and streaming, and what we're doing here is people are getting a glimpse behind the scenes of what is it like to have a Hall of Fame vote? When did you find out? That went crazy. We got like 1,600 views just on that one little 1-minute segment when you're like,
welcome, America.
Yeah.
All right, this list is question.
Let's look at this. Let's put it up. Because this is interesting. And I hope you thought about that, because there was a punishment that we used to have. But what did you, so typically it would be for the losing team, right? What would happen in your leagues?
Well, my leagues are tame, but and I will just say I have seen this hilarious ones on social media. I'm all for the best ones. And I should phrase it, the worst ones are the public shaming, where you have to walk around with a sandwich board saying, "I am a football idiot. I am a football moron," and just ringing a bell in a public square or whatever. It's just hilarious because people get it. Like, they're not baffled. Like, oh, that's a fantasy football punishment. In our league, the thing was, the punishment was if you really beat somebody a lot, they had to deliver a 6-pack of beer of your choice, like by midnight, and if they didn't get it to you, then it was became a 12-pack, and it just kept building if they didn't. But if you beat them by 50 points, that was a beer run night, and it was a fun thing because you might be making a midnight express delivery to San Jose on some random Monday night after Monday Night Football.
Oh no!
So this is not a fantasy football punishment, but this happened to me, and it's a very traumatic experience. I went bowling with Dave Finnegar and Alan Piombo, 2 more kids from our high school.
Those guys.
And, we agreed that the loser would have to go into Lions. Remember Lions restaurants?
I remember Lions. Yeah, right there.
Or are they out? They're right. So we were gonna go straight there after the bowling, and whoever lost had to run for mayor and go around to every table and introduce yourself and try to win some votes. I was comfortably ahead, and Alan hit some crazy split of, this, you can see where this is going. I lost.
Sure. And then you lost.
We had to walk to a packed Lions, like every table full kind of thing. And I walked around to a couple tables, and I wasn't, I was not comfortable in my own skin. This is like 18, 19, right? So like, this was a horrifying thing for me. And I went around and did like 5 tables, and I said, that's enough. And Alan's like, everybody. So I walked around and said, I'm Dan Brown. I'm running for mayor. Can I count on your vote this November? And on it went like 50 times throughout the restaurant.
And I bet you probably got a good, they're like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, what do you say to some kid that comes out? I'd be like, okay, what do you support out there? Do you support redistricting? The Adrian Drive is too fast. I need it 15 miles an hour there, sir. Can you do that?
There's No Name Street, need a name.
No Name Street.
Right? We had a No Name Street. It's still there.
I know. I was just up there a couple, 3 weeks ago, and I passed by No Name Street. The Rotten Robbie's is still there too. I was blown away. I'm like, Rotten Robbie's is still here. The gas isn't 29 cents as it
So
used to
thank
be.
you. If Alyssa is still on the chat, she said, like, do you know? Have you heard? She's
says-
probably got worse. Let us know. Let us know what we missed.
Yeah. So
Oh,
you
and
know,
then the funny thing I see is you have to wear the jersey or hat of your least favorite team. Which,
oh
if you're a Giants fan
yes,
wearing a Dodgers cap, a
yeah,
Niners fan wearing a Rams hat or a Seahawks hat, that is a significant punishment.
dude. Back then, it was Niners fans had to wear Cowboy stuff, and Cowboys had to wear.
Yeah,
It was terrible.
yeah.
It was terrible. Luckily, I was pretty good at fantasy, so I would win. We used to have a Taco Bell thing too. If you lost to the highest scoring team, you had to buy them Taco Bell. So that was when they had the $5 menu.
Oh,
And you could buy
okay,
a bunch
yeah.
of shit. Yeah. You had to buy them Taco Bell. So that was a good one.
That's good.
That was a good one. Good one. You know.
Bring that back.
Yeah. So, Dan, I think it's time for some predictions. What do you think?
On anything?
Did you like that? NFL predictions. And by the way, I have mine right here. These are my predictions.
Okay.
So, as always, I'm rolling it back,
Yeah.
and I'm a homer. So let's just get that right there. I'm a
Right.
homer. Luckily, my team is decent this year, so I'm not picking a last place team to win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And by the way, you know where the Super Bowl is being played this year?
So right down the road where I usually am.
You, right.
There.
It's in
Yep.
your backyard, Dan.
Yep.
Your backyard. So I am channeling Chris Berman, and I'm rolling it back, and I'm predicting the Super Bowl. It's the 49ers and the Bills.
Huh.
Because we never got the chance to see that. There was the Roger Craig game that it would have happened there.
Wow.
There were many other times where the Niners made it, but then Mahomes took out the Bills.
Right.
But this year is different. I'm not even predicting that the Chiefs will even win their division. There'll be a wild card. But I'm picking the Chargers. And by the way, I did that. See, I did that before they even upset the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Harbaugh believer.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to hear your prediction, sir. Who do you think is going to the Super Bowl? What teams do you think will be improved?
Well, I'm going to say what I would have said before because the Chiefs did not look good. They did not look like themselves. They looked, I don't want to say in shambles, but they were definitely a shadow of their peak. Remember Mahomes at his peak? He'd score every time they wanted in like 40 seconds. It was incredible machinery. I'm going to say they get there anyway. I think that they're going to figure it out. I think Andy Reid's great. I think that the coaching is great. The program, I think Mahomes is, they've been smart with him in terms of they don't need him to throw for 300 and 400 yards every game. They can just make him game manager. I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll make it back. And I know there's powerhouses. I know the Bills are. I know the Bengals are dangerous. But I just think that coaching, experience, whatever, gets them through. I don't really have a great reasoning except for the Chiefs are the Chiefs. So you might as well get your annoyance out of the way and just say, yeah, it's going to be them again. And then I like the Buccaneers in the NFC. I like the Buccaneers. I like Baker Mayfield way more than I thought, both personally and professionally. I think he's a different guy than the reputation I had of him, the image I had of him coming out of college. And I think that they're balanced. I like the receivers. I like the running backs. I like the defense. I like the coach. So I think Bucs Chiefs.
Bucs Chiefs. Okay, I'm writing that down. You're saying let Baker bake.
Let Baker bake.
Okay. All right. What team? So here's a few here. What team do you think is going to be the most improved or your surprise team for the year? I mean, some may say with what you're saying there, the Bucs might be, but I mean, like a team that was bad last year. The Bucs are okay last year.
Yeah.
What bad team last year will be good this year?
Patriots.
Okay. Yeah. I've heard.
I think the Patriots, and I don't see the practice. I'm not around them, but the Athletic had a story where they asked a lot of GMs, like they asked essentially the same question.
Yeah.
Who who's going to be improved. And they said, the Patriots, they've been laying low for a while. They got knocked, but they have been slowly building a solid roster, and I think that they might be on the upswing.
Yep. My pick is
unless they're losing to the Raiders right now, then in which case,
Are you saying the Raiders? Were you saying the Raiders?
No, I'm saying unless the Patriots are losing the Raiders right now, in which case I immediately rescind my pick of saying the Patriots. Let's see. The Patriots are up 10-7. So yeah, don't doubt.
Okay. The Las Vegas Raiders. So Dan, my pick for that question is the Chicago Bears.
Oh, very good.
Why I say that is because I have friends that have been Bears fans forever, and the Bears always suck. And then they've been just compiling all these like number one draft picks, and they have really talented people everywhere. So at some point, I think it's going to pop. I am predicting them not to win the North because, like I said, Charles Haley Part 2.
Packers. Oh, right, Packers. Okay.
Packers are going to be strong. Like, I am a homer, and I am picking the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl, but I believe that if it's not the Niners, it will be the Packers. That's mine.
It's funny. We have not mentioned the Detroit Lions one time, but they were the juggernaut last year.
I know. I don't know. I mean, good point there. Or the Eagles, right? People, the Eagles went and smashed the Chiefs, but people are saying they're not going to repeat. Okay. Travis Kelce, are you buying stock or selling it? Did you draft him in your fantasy football league as your tight end? Was he too expensive? Inquiring minds want to know. Taylor, she's watching right now. Tay, hi. Good to see you. We're big fans. I know what he's going to say about Trav, but go ahead.
Well, first of all, no. Evan Ingram in one league, and who's my Evan Ingram and another guy I'll come back to by the time. But I like Travis Kelce, and I believe him when he says, hey, I feel great, because he had kind of a disappointing Super Bowl. He wasn't in his top form last year. But when he says, like, I feel great, I got more years in me, because he's not a guy who's been getting by on, speed burner speed. He just knows how to get open. He's a great route runner at this stage of his career. He and Patrick Mahomes have that the mojo between them, the connection, the way Montana and it's a good Rice, but like anybody who would get into you get in this rapport with a receiver and you think alike. You can like give Dwight Clark might be the better comp. Like you could just like look over at the end of the line and you would realize you were seeing the same thing, and you would react to where the linebacker was and whether the blitz was coming and know where to be when Montana needs to get rid of the ball. And I think Mahomes and Kelce have done that so many times that they could probably do it for 5 more years, even if athletically they're not the same. So
I agree.
You think he'll be productive this year? Like
absolutely.
I will say 80 catches. How about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely buying that guy. He is their offense, man, and you can't stop him. It's almost like a Kittle thing. If the Niners unleashed Kittle, you can't stop that guy. I think Kelce's the same way.
Yeah.
So
who's my other? Oh, Sam Laporta is my other tight end.
Oh, Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
That's a good one. He's involved in the offense. See, back in my days when I was playing fantasy football, my guy was always Dallas Clark.
Oh, good. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I like it.
He was basically a fullback, and he would put up like great numbers because he was always catching the ball from Peyton.
Oh, Baller Show. Y'all love watching. Thanks, Alyssa. Thanks for the punishment.
See, I'm not getting the. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
See that I'm like technically unaware here because I keep seeing this thing pop up, but it looks like it's my need help button there, but it's my chat button. So yes, thank you, AJ, for watching.
I will say Dan, a good game, fantasy football game. I want to like is aid yourself by, as you just did, by naming a fantasy football player you once owned. Like I had Jim Harbaugh as my quarterback once upon a time. I had Barry Foster and Rodney Hampton as running backs. Like,
okay. my best team was like back in the day. I went undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
I had, let's see, I had Steve Young as my QB. I had Marshall Falk when he was with the Indianapolis
This is a
Colts.
good team.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I basically spent on my quarterback, which is Steve Young, and my wide receiver was Jerry Rice. I spent on those two. Then I got rookie Marshall Falk, rookie Natron Means.
Yeah.
Remember him? And they went off, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. I had Tony Gonzalez as tight end. This is at the very beginning of
Yeah.
this. And then I had, let's see, back then the monster defense was like the Denver Broncos because they were always playing against the Raiders and the Chargers and the Chiefs when the Chiefs sucked.
Yeah.
So they would put up millions of points. And yes, I went undefeated.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was so happy. I got Taco Bell like pretty much out, I don't know, out of the 16-week season because it was only 16 weeks back then. I got it maybe like 13 times.
Yeah. And remember they had the leather helmets?
Yeah, I know. With
And
nothing in the
they hadn't invented the forward pass yet, and everything was all lateral.
Right, and the footballs are like this big, and they were like all. Brady would have loved it because they were like, real easy to huck down the field. So Dan, I love this. What's been going on? Like, what do you have going on for the week? You're in New York. Are you there for business? Are you there for fun? Like, what's happening in your world?
Yeah, two unrelated things. One is tomorrow I'm going to go to tomorrow I'm going to go to the New York Times offices for the first time. I work for The Athletic. It's owned by the New York Times. Some of my stories have appeared in the New York Times. I feel like
I know. I saw that.
I got my badge. I'm going to walk in there and be like, "Hey, man, Ben Brown is here." But just to walk into the building knowing I belong there will be a dream come true. It'll be insane for me.
I love it.
The other thing related to like long time, my Gina Davis lifelong fanhood. I'm a big fan of hers. I started supporting her as a nonprofit. I started kind of freelancing for her nonprofit. I do enough work for them. Tonight I'm going to the Gina Davis nonprofit team dinner. Me, G, and I think 8 others.
Wow.
2 hours. I'll be at dinner with Gina Davis.
Oh my God, Dan, that's amazing. Dude, happening. You know who's going to be jealous?
Who?
Tay. Tay's going to be jealous. Okay, so I'm going to mod this next week. We're going to have a picture of you and Gina Davis there pointing. I'm sure you can get her to point.
Yeah, I've got a Gina point photo from.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. That's awesome. I will be glued to my Instagrams to see what's going on, Dan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's happening in it's at 6:30 p.m. here Eastern time, and then I see her again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night there's an event, so I'm going to go to the event. So back-to-back nights.
Oh, you're seeing her 2 nights in a row. That's amazing. Okay, and I will say I love the fact that you get to step foot in the hallowed halls of the New York Times. And for you out there watching, from the Clarion to the New York Times, that's you, my friend.
Everybody knows the Clarion out there.
The Roanert part,
the newspaper, Clarion. Circulation of 2000.
If even that.
No, but you know what? Literally in the yearbook, it says, our high school yearbook.
Yeah.
My senior year, there's a picture of me in front of the Clarion. And it said, today the Clarion, tomorrow the New York Times. Tomorrow that's going to be true.
Dude.
40 years
later.
Man,
I wish I had my yearbooks somewhere. I don't even know where they are. They're probably in storage somewhere. You got to dig that up, man. Yeah. That's social media gold for sure. Wow. Amazing. Yeah. Well, Dan, as always, this is a amazing show. Thanks for joining all the way out there from New York City. And I look forward to many stories on the Gina Davis front. And
the whole show.
Yeah.
Your own story.
Yeah. So everyone out there, thanks for watching.
Good luck on your fantasy football week, everybody.